playoffs roll on, and the road to the championship goes through Arizona. The 2-3 of Dakota Long in that Toyota has control of the field. Green flag is out at Phoenix. Pete Yetman crashes at the end of lap number 1. We stay green, however, the 2-1 motionless now will back up, and now the caution flag is out as Dakota Dahl just avoids Pete Yetman in the 1-0. Not sure where the 21 was backing up to, but the yellow will come out after lap number 1, and it's an eventful lap number 1. Let's go back to the green. There's Yetman in the 2-1. There's Dakota Long leading this race. Mad start to this one. Dakota Dahl in the 10 is the first incident. It looks like he just lost control of the race car. Yeah, you just see him break loose in that number 10 Ford, and he goes around, and then Pete Yetman. He's going to run into some troubles. Gets right up to the 3 of Lucas Reed. Reed tags the wall and keeps it moving. Pete Yetman gets right into Lucas Reed. Yetman gets out of the way of Dakota Dahl quickly. And at the front, Dakota Long leads this race with the lights still on atop the pace car. So we're going to take a brief break while these guys sort themselves out. We'll be back in 60 seconds with more ENEA. Back to racing at the Phoenix Raceway. Perrin Huggins and Dakota Long still in control after one lap. 2 cars went around, and now the drivers are going to get another chance to sort themselves out. Huggins in the 8, Long in the 2-3. Last year, kind of close in wins. This year, not so much at all, really. Looking at those point standings, Perrin Huggins dominating the points. And as far as wins go, Dakota Long still winless. You thought last week, but you see just how far they come along this time through. Green flag will come out. We're going to go racing again, and this time I know we're going to get a full lap in. Long leads, and he dives down into the dog leg. Dakota Long leads lap number 1, and we are green after one lap of competition. The 2-3 DoorDash Camry sits ahead of Jacob Prince, 28-23. He's put in the fastest lap yet as Luke Reed enters the pit. Caution is out, and it's Dakota Dahl who goes around again. 2 laps, 2 crashes for the number 10. He jumps immediately into the pits, and that scenic sweeping camera tells you that Dakota Dahl has called it a night already. 2 laps, 2 crashes, and he says, you know what? I'm going home. Dahl in the 10 just goes around again right ahead of Jared Stone. Loses control of this one, and definitely a frustrating situation for him. Let's try again. And again, just by himself. This is on lap number 5. This is on the second green flag lap after caution. Let's see. Let's take a look at the first one. This is on lap number 1, mind you. The caution will shortly come out for Pete Yetman after this, and this is on lap number 7. 1 green flag lap, and Dahl goes around. And another green flag lap, and Dahl goes around again, and Dakota says, I've had it. So 1 Dakota out, another Dakota sits at the top. Long, if you don't mind, in that 2-3, sits ahead of Jacob Prince in the UniFirst number 9 Chevrolet. Prince also winless this season. Racing Ricky's in the chat. Shout out to everybody back home. Shout out to Ricky. Shout out to Justin, who could not be here tonight. Justin Shoop still working. But we'll catch him next week, certainly. Here are the points coming into this race. Fresh round, fresh set of points. We need somebody new to win tonight. Will it be the number 9 of Jacob Prince? How about the 2-3 of Dakota Long? Nick Kaufman, always in the mix to win a race. The number 14 Coca-Cola Ford. He looks poised. He looks ready. Why not Nicky Kaufman? There he is. He sits right on the elimination spot, right in the bottom 4. But a win changes that. Win and you're through to the next round. We'll see just how far they get this time. Looking at that schedule, tonight we're racing at Phoenix. Next week it's at the Coca-Cola, what is it? No, the Charlotte Road Course. What am I talking about? And then Talladega to end this quarterfinal round, and that's going to be insane. So Phoenix, the Charlotte Road Course, and then Dega to end the round. That's going to be it's going to be nuts. It's going to be awesome, and everybody's going to have a good time, and no one's going to get their feelings hurt. And everyone's going to be friends at the end, right? Like we always are. Because that's racing. So 10 laps complete, and it pains me to say that only 2 of them have been run under green flag conditions, but the lights go out atop the pace car, and the big yellow cactus turns off. It's going to turn green shortly. Dakota Long will have control of the field on the outside of Jacob Prince in car number 9. We're going to cover football scores in just a minute. But hold on tight. We might get one more lap of green flag racing here. I'm screwing around. We're going to take a look here. Landon saying he got some Wednesday night racing in earlier in the chat. Landon, a part of our Thursday Night Thunder scene. If you haven't seen Thursday Night Thunder yet, you have to. But Landon's a big fan. He's a big fan of the Bluegrass Bandits. Kind of a fan of Aiden Norman as well, but we won't get into that. He said he whooped up on Aiden, Norman, and Briley. Norman, who tonight actually was racing in some sort of ARCA car championship in iRacing, but his power went out. I think he was doing incredibly well, and his power went out. Hopefully that doesn't happen to any drivers in tonight's race. The green flag comes out, and Dakota Long has control of the field. Here he leads them out of the dogleg. We'll see just how far they make it. Dakota Dahl leading in the 2-3. He's got Jake Prince just to the outside, but then Nicky Kaufman is trying to open up the door beneath that Chevrolet. It goes Toyota, Chevrolet, Ford, 1, 2, 3 under the setting skies of Phoenix. Landon saying, who's going to win the race tonight? It depends on if we stay caution-free. Racing Rick says, my money's on the 9 or the 8. Normally you'd bet on the 91, you'd bet on the 9, but coming into this race, you want to talk about a safe bet. How about this guy right here? Aaron Huggins, who comes into this race leading those regular season points, 6 wins this season. Cody Johnson, 1 win this season. That's, where did Johnson win? Was it last week? I think. No, he won at, who the hell did win last week? Somebody help me out here. It was at Iowa. Was it Perrin Huggins? It was Perrin Huggins. Huggins won at Iowa with his 6th win. The week before that was Indianapolis. We had some rookie win, his first ever race. And then the week before that was Charlotte. That's where Cody Johnson got his win. And it's this driver right here in the number 08, Driven Car Wash Chevrolet, coming up outside of turn 4. He's got Kansas City's Connor Cordes right behind him, and the KC from KC in the number 5 Exalta Chevrolet. Let's go on board with Cordes. Just a couple of laps here. Racing Rick saying PTH is just getting warmed up. And it's weird that he says that, right? Because Huggins is hanging out here in the 5th position. He's not rushing the race. He's doing just fine. He sits behind Jordan Haynes with 3 wins this season, but on a part-time schedule, if you will. Haynes in that number 1 looking to do better than he did the week before, but he still advanced on to the next round. The number 1 car sits behind the number 9 of Jacob Prince, and if you haven't seen the latest episode of your favorite high horsepower soap drama, All Our Race Cars, Jacob Prince and Jordan Haynes have continued to take off their gloves and slap each other as the car turns. And I'm going to get more soap opera references in here before the race is over, I promise you. But if you're here, welcome to the latest episode of the Prince and Haynes Show. Hopefully, everything goes without conflict tonight, but we're going to see here. Farva's in the chat. Say, you already know that 9 car is going to be on a rail. Shut up, Farva. Prince on a wide rail outside of turn number 4 with Jordan Haynes behind him. This is what that battle looks like as Jacob Prince tries to dive to the inside. Haynes tries to open up the space on the high side. Prince running the middle, Haynes on the low side, and if I were Jordan Haynes, I'd kind of just sit here and let the 9 car play defense. He's in the middle of the track, burning up those tires, and the grip is slowly going to waver on the 9 car. Jordan Haynes is one of the quickest drivers on the track. That's been proven. It doesn't need to be contested. We know he's quick. But now the question remains, is he patient? He opens up the bottom side to the number 9 of Prince. Haynes looking up the middle. And he's going to live to fight another lap. Perrin Huggins just behind him. And Dakota Long breaking out to a 1.2 second lead in that number 2-3 DoorDash Camry. You see they released pictures of the new Camry as well. If you haven't seen it, it looks kind of interesting. It definitely looks less like a stock car. But if you've seen it, you know, put your thoughts in the chat. Let me know what you think. I always like the look of this Camry. I know it's kind of busy in the front, but it definitely looks like an attacking race car, like a mean race car. It's got that aggressive face. Gotta love it. Racing Rick talking about sitting back and forcing a mistake. He might have forced the number 9 high, but you see he's not pushing the issue, but he is going to just go high, and the number 9 of Jacob Prince gets a little bit of a wider run out of turn number 2, and the number 9 continues to play defense. Jordan Haynes letting him go. Now he's testing the high side once more as Jacob Prince burns those tires, trying to turn super hard down onto the dog leg. Jordan Haynes still not attempting the pass, and Perrin Huggins waiting patiently behind the 1. Prince again wiggling on the racetrack. Haynes looks like he's steady, but we'll see how this plays out. We'll see if it's burning up Jacob Prince's tires. I'm interested to see where the grip goes on these race cars so far. And further on back, one guy who spun is now making more headway in these first laps than he was in the first one at all. Pete Yetman back on to racing speed, and he's chasing down the double 8. Haynes and Prince continue to play nice, nose to tail. The sun starting to just set behind the hill. When I say the hill, it's setting behind the grandstands, isn't it? Haynes in that one. I said we'd cover football scores, and I still haven't done it yet. So let's take a look at who's even playing tonight. I have no idea. The Bears and the Vikings. Okay, there's an NFC North rivalry. Must be fun to watch. Looks like the Vikings are in some throwback uniforms as well. Maybe? Nope, just my mistake. Looks like the pants. Anyway, so the Bears are up 3-0 with 12.5 minutes remaining in that second quarter. Landon, who's usually in here with the wild parlays. What is it, Landon? You want each team to score 2 touchdowns in each half of the game, and if you told me something like if you put $10 on it, it ends up paying out like $1,000. So let me know if you put any crazy bets on that tonight too. Huggins in the 8, now on the left-hand side. As Jordan Haynes, he's starting to just open up the left-hand side, and he might have even cleared the number 9. The 9 has a much faster run through the corner. They're going to go side by side into number 3, and the 1 of Jordan Haynes just gets in front of the 9 of Jacob Prince outside of turn number 4. Haynes runs up the racetrack. We'll see how Prince reacts. Haynes keeping his cool for now. Prince doing the same. And it looks like the 1 car will clear the 9. He'll try to go up the racetrack and force the 9 to hit the brakes. He does so successfully. It's now 1-9-8 running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. On board with Perrin Huggins. You heard Huggins getting up into the red line. He's really pushing the boundaries of that engine. Emily Seeger in the house saying, how's Seeger doing tonight? Let's take a look at Matt Seeger, the rookie in the double 8 driven Chevrolet. Running 13th so far. He's got James Stables 8 seconds beyond him. Seeger 1.5 seconds behind Pete Yetman in the 2-1. Still a rookie season for Matt Seeger, but he's had a couple of top 10 runs, and you really expect big things out of him, but maybe he's just taking it easy. Certainly, if he keeps the race car clean, he's definitely going to be around as the race continues. Nikki Kaufman in second, Dakota Long in third, and now look who's arrived. 3-time winner Jordan Haynes up to that 3rd position. Perrin Huggins is in 4th. He's gotten around Jacob Prince. Let's take a look at Huggins. And just textbook, outbraking Jacob Prince into the 3rd corner. Perrin Huggins makes it through. Jacob Prince decides to put the bumper to Perrin Huggins. Just a little friendly love tap to the rear end. And he continues. Defending champion Cody Johnson now on the attack. .08 just sitting behind the 9 of Jacob Prince. He was sitting up into the top 5. Jacob Prince now on the back end of the top 5. And looks like Connor Cordes from Kansas City is also going to try and come in onto the 08 of Johnson. Ryan Pasocco in the 2. Tim Duggar Chevrolet sits behind Brandon Meyer in the number 33 Red Bull Ford. And Ryan Lindemann in that 2.8 Natty Light Chevy. I'm serious. Take a look at the Natty Light Chevy here. Ryan Lindemann. First of all, when's the last time anybody, and I'm not hating on the race car, it's a great looking race car, I'm genuinely asking, when is the last time you drank Natty Light? Feels like forever, right? I don't know, maybe that's your beer of choice, and if it is, more power to you, because it ain't mine. The 66 of Jared Stone, looks like he's been drinking 5 Natty Lights the way he just swerved into turn number 2. Have a look here. Yeah, just swerving right out of the corner there. A few Natty Lights for Jared Stone, but he's sitting in that double 6 Pennzoil Ford in the top 11 drivers. Farva goes 5 seconds ago. Racing Rick says it's a great looking paint. It's a fantastic looking paint. It really is. Farva, the brave one, he just goes 5 seconds ago. Well, have another one, Farva. The 2 of Pasocco. Now making hay while the sun still shines at Phoenix. The lights just flickering on the racetrack, and the number 2 sneaks to the inside of car 28, and he gets into the 7th position. Meanwhile, this guy, Dakota Long, still at the front of this race. Led through both cautions in the first 2 laps of this race. He's got the biggest lead of the night, but now Jordan Haynes is behind him. Cody Johnson still working on Jacob Prince. It's not a small piece of steak that he chews. So he's going to take his time. And then Nicky Kaufman in the Ho-Ho-Ho Ford. The number 14 Coca-Cola Mustang, just behind Perrin Huggins as well. Rick's a Coors Light fan. Farva goes, he likes Coors Banquet. So I guess it's going to be Coors Light versus Coors Banquet in the chat tonight. Forget Bears versus Vikings. But, hey, that's all good. I'm a Lions fan, and we're going to win the Super Bowl. So we're set. You guys can argue with the rest of the NFC North. Jared Stone, he's trying to argue right now with that 2.8 of Ryan Lindemann, that famous Natty Light 2.8, and it is a famous Natty Light 2.8. Definitely one of the best paint schemes of the season. For a beer that nobody but Farva drinks, Ryan Lindemann racing in the 7th position. Cody Johnson 6 seconds ahead. Well, now 5 1/4. And the 08 still within 6/10 to Jacob Prince. Meanwhile, Dakota Long 1.5 seconds, and the caution is out on lap 42. It's Brandon Meyer, the 33. Pete Yetman is involved as well. Let's see what happened on lap 42. Nowhere for Pete Yetman to go. Connor Cordes just barely avoids that one. On board with Meyer. Pete Yetman's going to get his race car fixed. Nick Kaufman is going to go to the front of the field. We're going to take a break while these drivers do the same, and then we'll be back shortly with more ENEA racing. Grab yourself a slice of pizza and a nice zesty drink. We'll see you in 2 minutes. Nicky Kaufman and Dakota Long are going to go back to work. Racing Rick crushing my Detroit Lions dreams of making it to the Super Bowl. Says we got to make it to the playoffs first. We'll be there. Don't you worry. We'll be there, baby. The Cowboys as well. A little bit of Cowboy fanery in the chat. These drivers going to go back to work here. Nick Kaufman and Dakota Long will be at the front of this race. 46 laps about to be completed at Phoenix. Green flag is out. Let's go racing.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
That did not last long. And it looks like Matt Seeger got involved in that one. Jared Stone. It was Cody Johnson, the defending champion and playoff contender, with a lot of damage. Green flag immediately turns to yellow, and that cactus didn't even turn green. It was chartreuse. Let's see what happened. Jordan Haynes, Perrin Huggins taken out. Cody Johnson taken out. What happened to the 8 car? Oh, he mistimes the start. Huggins mistimes the start. He just cuts down right onto Jordan Haynes. What? 6 wins this season, and that's not a move that you would see Perrin Huggins make. On board now with the 8 car again. And one more look here. You just want to get a really good look at the seam and just see who moves up, who moves down. Have another look from the sky. And any way you look at it, it's Perrin Huggins coming down on the 1 car, and defending champion Cody Johnson now suffers because of that. Jordan Haynes in the number 1, getting his race car repaired. Perrin Huggins with 6 wins this season, ironically coming out with the least damage out of anybody, but he's going to come down to pit road almost immediately. Dakota Long will be at the front of this one. And as Racing Rick says, he hopes he has a fast repair. Tonight's race has 0 fast repair, so they're going to have to sit there and get the damage fixed. Huggins, luckily, has the least amount of damage of anybody there, so he's going to be in a pretty prime position. He might not lose that much time on the racetrack. So we're going to try this one more time, and the first 2 restarts of this race, cars ended up spinning, and then we went green for quite a while, and then on this restart, not only did they not make it 1 lap, they didn't make it to turn 1. They didn't make it out of the dogleg. So we'll see just what goes on this time through. Dakota Long has control of the field once more. Nick Kaufman behind him, and look at Jacob Prince really trying to sneak that nose. Will he also jump the start? Green flag is out, and Jacob Prince is anxious to get up Dakota Long's behind. Any closer, and that would have been game over. That would have been game over. Perrin Huggins in the chat simply says, "That was my fault." One more look at what brought us to this most recent restart. And for that, Perrin Huggins is apologetic. He says it was my fault. Taking responsibility. And it's good to see Perrin taking responsibility here. Dakota Long still out front. Now ahead of Jacob Prince by 0.6 of a second. Nicholas Kaufman still rolling in that 3rd position. Lindo up 10 places from where he started in that Natty Light Chevrolet. That's going to be the most legendary paint scheme of the evening, hands down. And how about Matt Seeger? Somebody spun, and is that Dakota Long? That's Dakota Long. Dakota Long in the 2-3 with no front end, and another winless race on the horizon for Dakota Long. What happened here? Was it the dogleg that got him? Just lost control of the race car. Jacob Prince almost slams into him. One more look, listen. Dakota Long running in that 9th position on the tail end of the lead lap. No caution has come out. Car 2-3 still with no front bumper. There's Jacob Prince out of turn number 2, and it's slick moves like that that earned Jacob Prince his very own Cold Trickle move of the race.
Ice cream.
So Prince now in control with Ryan Lindemann coming up behind him. Imagine Lindo getting a win. He's empowered. The beer has empowered Ryan Lindemann to come up into that 2nd position. Connor Cordes sitting in 3rd. The Exalta Chevrolet coming up alongside that wall. Nicholas Kaufman on his outside. 27.77, the fastest lap so far. And it's from Jacob Prince. Dakota Long leading the most laps up to this point in the race. Less than 100 to go, and he spins the race car. There he is, just completing lap number 56. Here's Jacob Prince about to enter turn number 3. Long is going to need a lot of work to that race car. Shout out Bama Trama, who tuned into the race just as Dakota Long spun his machine. And to quote the boys back in the ARC's Discord server, you hate to see it. If you've just tuned in, you've missed quite a lot. We've had, I think, 3 cautions so far. Jacob Prince is now in the lead. Here's the first 2 crashes of the evening. This is on lap number 1. Dakota Dahl in the 10 car. He's going to go around by himself. Pete Yetman, this is on the same lap in turn number 4. He's also going to go for a spin. Gets into Lucas Reed. They go under caution, and 6 laps later on lap number 7, Dakota Dahl spins again, and after that he decides enough's enough. I'm done with tonight, and he throws in the towel and he quits. Brandon Meyer in the 33, this is on lap number 42. Pete Yetman, unfortunately, nowhere to go. Then, the most recent big crash of the evening. Perrin Huggins comes down onto the one of Jordan Haynes. Defending champion Cody Johnson gets involved. And then, by himself, 8 laps later, Dakota Long loses control. Jacob Prince just avoids making contact with him, and the 2-3 bought the farm. Prince leading by 2 seconds over Ryan Lindemann. Connor Cordes sitting in 3rd. If you come for the Bears and the Vikings, they're on a break right now. We're going to get back to that score in just a moment. I don't have my ESPN app up. I'm distracted by the slice of pizza next to me. The pizza guy showed up just as we went live here. So I went live a little bit late. The pizza guy then shows up, so I'm stuffing a slice of pepperoni pizza into my mouth just as I'm trying to talk. And speaking of natural light, I might need a zesty drink to wash this pizza down here as well. I think I got some Coke in the fridge. We'll see. But anyway, enough about what I'm eating. Jacob Prince leading 2 seconds is the gap over the last 5 laps. The gap between himself and Connor Cordes. That last time around, Cordes just starting to catch up. He's a little bit quicker than Prince. Lindemann now catching up to Connor Cordes. We'll see just how far they go through this one. Magnum's in the house as well. He wants to race with Ryan Pasoko. Cordes in that number 5, sitting in 2nd, playing heavy defense to the 2-8. How about Nicky Kaufman? He's also on the attack, trying to get up to Ryan Pasoko in that number 2. 45 green flag laps is the expected fuel run for these drivers. And my cat trying to weigh in on tonight's frivolities. And one car goes around. It looks like Lindemann in the 2-8, and he's had a couple too many natural lights. And to quote Jim Leahy, just a couple of drinks. And that's enough to send the 2-8 spinning. Caution is out. And it happens to be the 2-8, Ryan Lindemann. Oh, this is super early. Let's take a look here at Ryan Lindemann going around once more. Look, Lindemann just gets up into the wall. Jordan Haynes just gets right into Lindemann and turns him around. What happened here? This doesn't look like friends having a good time on the racetrack. Goodness me. And the Tampa native seemingly just got dumped by the 1 car. There he goes up high. Jordan Haynes comes up the racetrack right into Lindemann. And now I'm curious what in the world is going on here, because that just doesn't happen, right? Let's go to the blimp and take another look, because that looked very similar to what Perrin Huggins had done. Yeah, he just comes right up the racetrack. Let's see if we can find when Ryan Lindemann had made a pass earlier on Jordan Haynes. Haynes well behind that 2.8. No idea what that's going to be about, but I can't wait to hear what happened. In any case, let's take another look at what just happened here. Jordan Haynes decides to get around Ryan Lindemann the easy way. Keep your eye on the 2.8. We'll be back in 60 seconds with more ENEA.
Green, green, green.
And the green flag comes out immediately. There goes Jacob Prince on the attack. They funnel down into the first corner, and car number 9 jumps to the front. Car 2-3, Dakota Long, back onto the racetrack with a scarred 2-3. Camry, we'll see what comes of this. Two, three, back up to the racetrack. Jacob Prince in the number 9 sits ahead of Nick Kaufman in the 14. It goes Chevy, Ford, Chevrolet. Jordan Haynes in that number 1. And how about rookie Matt Seeger in that double 8, sandwiched between the 1 of Jordan Haynes and the 2-3 of Dakota Long. Seeger biding his time up into the top 5. We're inside the final 80 laps of racing. Nicky Kaufman moves to the inside, gets right down on that dog leg. The ever-aggressive Nick Kaufman coming right up behind the number 9, Jacob Prince, and opening that door for Jordan Haynes on board with the 1. the ever-talented Jordan Haynes. Definitely with a couple of moves to answer for while he watches the top two dance back and forth. The 1-4 of Nick Kaufman trying to tango with the number 9 of Jacob Prince, who just wants to boogie away from that second-placed 14. James Staples just went green. 28-40 for the number 2-4. He's coming up on the back end of Ryan Pasocco. 2-4 continues to chase down. Connor Cordes in the 5. To the inside of Lindemann in that 2-8. Connor Cordes now clears the 2-8 of Lindemann. Matt Seeger sits up ahead, up 8 places from where he started. Look at who's in the lead. Nicky Kaufman in the 1-4. Here's that pass for first. Just dives down onto the dog leg. He will not be denied. And he shoots around Jacob Prince like he wasn't even there. New leader, car 14. And Kaufman running away with this one, but what's it going to do to the tires? Drivers last pitting on lap 67. If my track facts are correct, which they hardly are, then drivers will probably be pitting around, what, lap 111, something like that. I've got no clue. Jacob Prince in the number 9. Now on the back 9 of this race, he sits in second. He led briefly. Jordan Haynes in the number 1 now has Dakota Long behind him on board with the 2-3. And the Sparta native now chasing down the number 1 of Jordan Haynes. Looking at the Bears and the Vikings, it's still 3-0 Chicago. The 3-8 Bears coming to visit the 6-5 Vikings with just under 3 minutes to go in this second quarter. A really low-scoring affair, you know. 70 laps to go next time by, and Jordan Haynes has to play defense on the 2-3 of Dakota Long. Over the last 5 laps, this is the gap. Bennett fans wondering, where is Michael Bennett? Well, he's not going to be here this evening. Did not make the roster. Looking at those playoff points, again, it's top 12. Top 12 in this 3-race round. Phoenix tonight, Charlotte next week, and the Talladega Super Speedway after that. And as it always is, the Talladega Super Speedway, it's going to be just an unbelievable blast. It's going to be awesome watching these race cars there. 12 drivers then become 8. Texas, Darlington, Homestead. And after Homestead, those 8 drivers get whittled down to 4. And they're all going to fight for that ENEA championship. So still plenty of racing to go, but definitely it's going to get a lot tighter as the clock winds down. Nick Kaufman still leads. He's got a half-second advantage over Jacob Prince. Jordan Haynes not pushing the issue, still within 1 second to the number 9 of Prince. And Dakota Long now hanging behind the 1 of Jordan Haynes. Drivers kind of gotten spread out. Definitely just settling along for the ride. One driver here who settled a little too comfortably. Might have fallen asleep at the wheel on lap 68. Not such a nice ride for Ryan Lindemann. But Lindemann in the 7th position. Jordan Haynes sitting in 3rd. Back to the Bears and the Vikings. Still 3-0 with a $150 to go in this first half. The 3-8 Bears and the 6-5 Vikings. Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions are sitting atop of the NFC North. What is it? 8-3, 9-3, something like that. It's a fairy tale season. Long may this reign continue in Detroit. Ryan Lindemann The native of Tampa gets to the inside of Matt Seeger. The old Xbox buddies back and forth. And Lindo sneaks his Natty Light Chevy up to 6th. Cats in the background cheering on the 2-8 of Ryan Lindemann. Nicky Kaufman still leading, and will this finally be the race that Nicky seals that win? He comes into this race at the bottom of the playoff points standings. No wins, with an average start of 7th and an average finish of 11th. Nick Kaufman. Tonight could be the night, Nicky. We'll definitely see. Jacob Prince sits behind him, also winless this season. Jordan Haynes with 3 wins. Dakota Long has none after racking up 3 wins himself. Long in the 2-3 sneaks to the inside of that number 1 all-black Chevrolet. And off of turn number 4, Dakota Long sneaks his DoorDash Camry up into 3rd. It is Ford, Chevy, Toyota, your top 3. 88 laps underway. Car 88 sitting in the 7th position. Prince in 2nd. 1.2 seconds behind the leader. 1.2 seconds ahead of this guy with Jordan Haynes chasing on. On board with Dakota Long. And Dakota Long now pulling away from Jordan Haynes. 1 second the gap between them. The Sparta native in the DoorDash Camry up to 3rd. Jacob Prince 1.5 seconds ahead in that number 9. And Nick Kaufman at the front of this one. 91 laps completed. Racing Ricky saying the Vikings are moving the ball pretty good right now. Looking to put up the first touchdown of the game with a minute to go in the 2nd quarter. And Rick, you can probably see this better than me because you were actually paying attention to the football game. Are the Vikings in their almost like a throwback hybrid, kind of like a modern helmet, but like a throwback inspired jersey? Definitely going to be holding on the Bears or some sort of intentional grounding or something. I have no idea. 29 seconds to go. In that 2nd quarter, Dobbs was wrestled to the ground by 3 Chicago Bears on the left side of the field. Bears up by a field goal. And the left shoulder pad of Dobbs hanging out from under his jersey. They got a hold of that boy. Shoot. Connor Cordes in that number 5 Exalta Chevrolet. He's now behind Jordan Haynes, trying to pester him for the 4th position. Dakota Long up to 3rd. He is on the move, 1.5 seconds behind race leader Jacob Prince, or I'm sorry, 2nd place Jacob Prince. This is the pass Dakota Long put on Jordan Haynes on lap 87. Matt Seeger and Ryan Pasoko exchanging some friendlies. Some nice clean racing through turns 3 and 4. And no harm, no foul. Keep it moving. Long in the 2-3 behind Prince in that number 9. Nick Kaufman in that 14. 95 laps now complete. Again, drivers last pitting on lap 67. Connor Cordes is in. Is this the unofficial start of green flag pit stops? Car number 5 will bring the Exalta Chevrolet to a halt. Tires, fuel, everything else he needs. Connor Court is going 29 laps on that stint. Is he short pitting? Is he gambling on a late race caution? I'm interested to see what he's got in mind. Third and 24. Now with 19 seconds for the Minnesota Vikings. And it's another sack for Dobbs, is it? Or did he lose the ball? What happened? Oh, I think they got him for intentional grounding. I'm not even sure. I don't know what the first penalty was. I'm not paying attention. But 19 seconds to go. Third and 24 for the Vikings. They're backed up to their own 33-yard line. Dobbs gets the snap on the left hash marks. He drops back even further. Dumps it off with a little shovel-ish pass. And it's going to be fourth down and something, I think. Fourth down and it looks like 7. 5, 4, and the Vikings are going to call a timeout, and they're going to put some points up on the board here before the half is over. But definitely an erratic red zone opportunity for the Vikings. And Rick, you can tell us, Ricky's in the chat, you can tell us, how far did the Vikings even get? It was only a little while ago we were saying, I bet they score before halftime, and now here they are before halftime, and they'll probably score, but it's going to be 4th and 13 after having 1st and 10 in the red zone. Not a good look for Minnesota. Or near the red zone. Rick, correct me if they didn't get there. 101 laps remain, as I'm obviously not paying attention to this race. I'm more focused on the pizza that's next to me. Jacob Prince in that number 9. 0.8 of a second behind Nick Kaufman and Brandon Meyer in the double 3. Sits behind Luke Reed in the single 3. And it's the Natty Light Chevrolet, the 2.8 of Ryan Lindemann, who's going to bring his shiny race car down into the pits. This is on lap 101 here, so approximately 44 laps, right within that window, between 35 to 45 laps is when you can expect these drivers to come on down into the pits. And Lindo says, it's my turn. You better believe it, baby. So the number 2.8 decides he's going to come on down. Tires, fuel, and everything else he might need to complete this race. Nicky Kaufman still at the front of this competition. And all eyes on the race leader. 0.7 of a second ahead of Jacob Prince and Dakota Long. Sitting third, it's a Ford, Chevy, Toyota, top 3 at Phoenix. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, the godfather of iRacing broadcasting. Repeat 1975. What up, Pete? What up, 1975 family? Thank you so much for tuning in, brother. I appreciate you. How are you, buddy? How is everything? How are the kids? Jacob Prince decides he's going to come on down. That second place Jacob Prince, who's coming through at 1,000,000 miles an hour down into the pits. And the number 9, UniFirst Chevrolet, will bring the race car down to a halt. Tires and fuel for driver number 9. Still a Ford, Toyota, Chevrolet, top 3. Nicholas Kaufman at the front of this race. There's Dakota Long in second. And Jordan Haynes sitting in third. Going to be a fun end to this race. 47 laps to go. Bears and Vikings tied at 3 at halftime. And again, the Vikings getting super close to scoring. I think they got in the red zone, and they end up going down to 3rd and 24, and they have to settle for a field goal on 4th and 13. So not a good look for Minnesota at home against divisional rivals, the Bears. And I think the Bears with the worst of the 2 records coming into this house here. The DoorDash Camry says it's my turn to come in. And the man from Sparta comes down for tires, fuel, and everything else. How about this guy right here, the rookie, Matt Seeger, sitting in third, up 10 places from where he started. Ryan Pasoko up to second, and now the race lead as Jordan Haynes decides it's time for himself to come down pit road, and the all-black number 1 will come for tires and fuel. He's got a little bit of damage to the back end of that one car. What happened to Jordan Haynes, however? Maybe just got a little loose off of a corner and slap that wall, but he hit it hard enough to dislodge that rear wing. 45 to go. Ryan Pasocco still leading this race with Luke Reed just behind him. Reed in that number 3, the John Deere Chevrolet. He sits in 10th, 3 laps off the pace. Lucas Reed has not pitted since lap 47. He's gone 60 laps on this tank of fuel. So my Access Fishing race facts are super wrong. But anyway, Lucas Reed proving us wrong, and Reed doing his thing. Repeat says Chad Little. You better believe Chad Little. Isn't Chad Little also from the Northeast? I have no idea. I think he's either from the Northeast or the Midwest. I'm not sure. But for those that don't know, as Jacob Prince goes purple and he slaps the wall with a 27.74. For those that don't know, Chad Little drove that number 97 John Deere Chevrolet in the late 90s. A very classic paint scheme as the leader, Nick Kaufman, prospective leader, Nick Kaufman, decides to scrape the wall in the same fashion as Jacob Prince off of turn number 4. More than 40 laps to go in this race. And the drivers definitely have enough fuel to go the distance. Matt Seeger gambling on that yellow now as Lucas Reed is on the outside with the 2.8 of Ryan Lindemann to the inside. That awesome Natty Light Chevrolet up to the 8th position. Look who just went purple. Nicholas Kaufman, 27.65, and the gap is 0.6 of a second to Jacob Prince. Seeger still out there, still gambling. Going against the grain, against the wind, if you will, and Seeger up at the front of this one, up 12 places from where he started. Bears and Vikings tied at 3 at the half. Vikings getting close, almost into their red zone, or they might have even crossed that 20-yard line. And they ended up on 3rd and 24, having to settle for a field goal on 4th and 13. Just so they could tie the Bears, visiting them in Minneapolis, so they're tied with a field goal apiece. Matt Seeger, kind of throwing a Hail Mary here if you think about it. He is 4.7 seconds behind Nick Kaufman, who's 1.3 seconds ahead of Jacob Prince. Is Jacob Prince saving the tires? Is Kaufman going way too hard on it? However you spell it, Nick Kaufman now takes that lead as Matt Seeger decides it's his turn to come in. Racing Rick telling me Chad Little's from Spokane, Washington. I was stupid wrong on that one. I said he came from the Northeast or maybe the Midwest. No, he came from the opposite corner of the country, Wisconsin. So that's where Chad Little comes from. Good to know. Nick Kaufman in the 14 Coca-Cola machine. Still plenty of race to go. 35 laps remain. Jake Prince in that number 9, winless. Nick Kaufman, winless. Dakota Long, winless. Matter of fact, all of the top 4, that includes Connor Cordes, have not won this race. Jordan Haynes sitting in 5th, the only driver so far to have won this race. Last time through, Jordan Haynes putting in 28.11 on the charts. Nick Kaufman, 27.97. And the question has to be asked now, is Kaufman going too hard? Is he doing just what he needs to do to win this race? Matt Seeger back onto the racetrack. The last car, 1 lap down. He's chasing down James Staples. 2.25 seconds the gap there. They're fighting for the lucky dog position. Matt Seeger in the double 8. Chasing down James Staples for that lucky dog spot. Jordan Haynes, 1.6 seconds behind Connor Cordes, and over the last 5 laps, this is the gap. That last time through, Haynes 0.3 quicker than Cordes. This time through, 0.4, almost half a second quicker than Connor Cordes. Jordan Haynes on a mission, but will that aggressive driving style get him to the front? Dakota Long, is he on an island by himself? 4 seconds ahead of Cordes, almost 2.5 seconds behind Jacob Prince. But that last lap, Dakota Long, 1/10 quicker than Prince. This time through, Dakota Long, not quicker than Jacob Prince, going up the order. That last time through, Jacob Prince was quicker than Nicky Kaufman by 1/10. That last time, Jacob Prince only 9/1,000ths quicker than Nick Kaufman, and the laps continue to wind down. 31 to go when they cross the line, and you don't want to call your shot just yet. Anything can happen. Kaufman in that Coca-Cola Christmas 14, ahead of Prince in the UniFirst number 9, and Dakota Long in his own red and white Camry, just trailing in third. Bears and Vikings still tied at 3 at halftime, on board with the 2-3. Inside the final 30. Lucas Reed is going to bring his John Deere Chevrolet down into the pits. James Staples in 9th. Seeger, now the lucky dog, in 8th. The drivers last pitting on lap 104. Nick Kaufman able to make it just before the 45 to go mark. He'll have to go to the edge of the Access Fishing Track Facts Fuel Mileage race. He can do it. We have seen him strategize. We've seen him be in winning positions before, only for the race to go belly up. But he definitely can get the job done. If this guy doesn't get in his way, Jacob Prince, 26 laps to go. Next time by. Prince now sees the biggest margin between him and Nick Kaufman since the green flag pit stops. 1.9 seconds, almost 2 seconds now the gap. Dakota Long, 2.25 seconds behind Jacob Prince, and slowly chipping away, but not consistently chipping away. Jacob Prince doesn't need to worry about playing defense just yet. This guy, 3 wins this season. Jordan Haynes in that number 1, not gaining any ground to Dakota Long, and the car just might not be there for him. You see some scrapes. You see just the trouble that he's gotten into earlier in this evening. One more look at Ryan Lindemann from the sky. Keep your eye on the one of Jordan Haynes. Haynes sitting in that 4th position right now, chasing down Dakota Long. Kaufman, 24 laps to go. 2 seconds, the gap between Nick Kaufman and Jacob Prince. 10 cars running at the end of this one. Racing Rick says Prince is a pit strategy guru. We'll see. Still plenty of racing to go. 23 more revolutions around this racetrack. If you just tuned in, it's been kind of a caution-filled race. Not like other weeks where we've gone close and beyond the double digits, but definitely a few single-car spins. And now we're winding down. 22 laps remain. Next time by, Nick Kaufman on the dogleg. He's got to be careful. That's what got Dakota Long on lap 54. Watch this. Front bumper just falls right off that 2-3. Dakota Dahl also had a couple of spins by himself. Brandon Meyer also had a spin. There was nothing Pete Yetman could do. Then Perrin Huggins made an erroneous move down on the one of Jordan Haynes. Defending champion Cody Johnson got a piece of that. Jared Stone also got a piece of that. A lot of action tonight, and it's going to culminate in the final 20 laps. 2-0 to go for the 14 of Nicky Kaufman, and next time by, 1-9 at the line. Two and a half seconds, now the gap. The number 9 UniFirst Chevrolet. Is he fighting an uphill battle? Is he driving enough race car? Dakota Long has now caught up to that number 9. There you see the last few laps. Dakota Long within 1/100th of a second or greater to the number 9 of Jake Prince. Looks like Bears and Vikings are back at it. We'll get that score in just a moment. And it's another sack. The Bears got him again. I promise you guys, I have not been paying attention to this football game. Every time I've looked down on the screen over the last 3 plays, Dobbs has gotten sacked. So it's 2nd and 18 now for Minnesota. The 6-5 Vikings hosting the 3-8 Chicago Bears. Dobbs almost gets the pass tipped again. A huge hit on his receiver. It's now going to be 3rd down and still something, with 13:20-something to go in this 3rd quarter, and the Vikings are really going backwards. 16 laps to go, this time by. Cordes in car 5, in position 5, 8 seconds ahead of Ryan Lindemann in 6th, 4 seconds behind Jordan Haynes, and this is the gap for Jordan Haynes to Dakota Long. Just can't catch up to that 2-3. 3rd and 11 for Minnesota. Dobbs is going to drop down 1,000,000 yards, and he's going to complete a pass. It's going to be a 4-yard gain, and it's going to be 4th and 7, I think, for the Bears. The Bears defenders, I think, each had a hand on Dobbs as he threw the ball to the left side of the field, and it was caught. Let's count this, because this is absolutely hilarious. The last 4 times I've looked at my phone, Bears defenders have had a hand on Dobbs. Oh, they didn't get a hand on him. They did pressure him, though. Just unbelievable last few plays from the Vikings, and they're picking up right where they left off out of the 2nd quarter. If the Vikings don't win this game, you can count on this string of plays to really just knock the wind out of them. They're going for it on 4th and 7. Dobbs drops back. He completes a pass, but they're going to be 1 yard short. So it's going to be a turnover on downs. They're only going to gain 6 yards. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Bears right around midfield. Racing Rick says, quit looking. Lucky number 13 laps to go this time by. 3 seconds. Now the gap for Jacob Prince. And he's got Dakota Long within 1 second to him. So the battle no longer for the first position. Jacob Prince trying to hold off this man right here, Dakota Long. This is going to be your second place fight. Long just starting to reel in that big green fish sitting in that second position. And we'll see if he's got the strength to keep towing that line all the way to a silver medal. Kaufman, 3.5 seconds at the front of this race. Still 1-0 to go, and then it will be 9 at the line. He comes into this race dead last in the playoff points. Winless this season. He's been in winning positions before. And next time by, he's got 9 more circuits to make it to the end. Nick Kaufman could lock himself in to the semifinal round. All he has to do is bring the car home. Jacob Prince wants to beat him to it. Over 3.5 seconds from first to second place. That last time through, Jacob Prince quicker on lap 40. Lap 141, Prince slower than Kaufman. It was 9 at the line, and then it's 8 more great laps to finish this race. Currently measuring the first down marker. And I've complained about this and will continue to complain about this until I'm blue in the face or they make a change. Why do we still use physical markers for the first down? Why? In tennis, we have little transmitters or whatever you want to call them that make it so you can see the ball within millimeters of the line. This is tennis, where that ball's moving way faster and it's a much smaller object. And we can tell within millimeters where that ball ends up and if it's in or out. I find it hard to believe that we don't have that technology yet in football. Maybe it's because the ball is a weird egg shape. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And that would be a great explanation as to why we don't have that yet. But why we still use humans carrying chains and giant orange markers to mark a first down when there is so much room for error. What'd Pete say? Lasers can be thrown off by a... Pete, what's a Molstor? Moisture. Ah, lasers can be thrown off by moisture. You know, that is a good point. But give it to soccer then. They implemented the goal line technology and it works beautifully. They play in a very, very, very wet environment sometimes. It rains all the time in England. Pete, you know this. You've been to England. It rains night and day in England. And the Premier League employs goal line technology that works within millimeters as well. So, look, to the folks over at Dakota Long, what is he doing there? He almost threw away the race car. He's really going for the spot with 4 to go this time by. So to the folks over at Hawkeye who implemented the goal line technology in the Premier League, reach out to the NFL and say, how would you like to stop having errors for your first down? I mean, I don't know how many they have. I'm you know, talking out of proportion and you know, blowing something up that has no need. But honestly, why do we still have human people carrying the first down marker? Racing Rig with his own theory, saying you got to leave it up to the guys looking to where they think they spotted the ball. This battle for second getting closer. 3 laps to go. Nick Kaufman comfortably in the lead by 4 1/3 seconds. Jacob Prince sitting in second. Dakota Long rolling in third. What in the world have I done with this camera here? I have no idea. Anyway. There you go. That's a more civilized camera angle, ain't it? The 2-3 of Dakota Long now chasing down the 9 of Jacob Prince. Here is that fight. It's 2 more miles to go in Phoenix. Ryan Pasoko coming up behind the 2-3 of Dakota Long, who just wants a piece of Jacob Prince. Off of turn number 4, Long makes a little bit of contact with the wall. He continues to hunt down car number 9. Still 3-3 in that Vikings game. Bears have the ball. It's going to be 3rd and 5 as the clock just ticks behind. 10 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Vikings fans making noise, praying for something other than a first down. See if their defense can get some pressure on the quarterback. Vikings backed up to their own 39-yard line. Bears snap the ball. Looks like Fields is going to run it for a first down. He's going to slide, and it's going to be 1st and 10 just outside the 25-yard line for the Bears. White flag is out, and Dakota Long will get one more chance to get around Jacob Prince. But this guy here, Nick Kaufman, defeated the odds and used strategy to lock himself into the next round of the playoffs. Kaufman wins at Phoenix. Prince in second will just beat Dakota Long to the line unofficially. 13 1/1000ths of a second. 13 100ths, I'm sorry. It was a gap of 1/10. I can't do math. I don't know why y'all trust me to do that. But Nick Kaufman, how about Nick Kaufman getting that victory? The number 14 will celebrate big time at Phoenix, and he deserves it as well. He's been waiting and trying, and he finally gets the W. Car 14 celebrates in style. Nicky Kaufman wins at Phoenix. Nice little celebratory dent on the race car fans at home. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have Nick Kaufman, Jacob Prince, and Dakota Long in the booth. On the podium with our top 3, starting with our 3rd place finisher tonight, the number 2-3 DoorDash Camry of Dakota Long. Dakota, so close to another win, but I think that spin on the dog leg got you.
Yeah, for sure, Rick. If not, I think I'd run away with it tonight. That DoorDash Camry was fast. Just cut the dog leg. Wasn't even really trying to cut it too hard, and just barely got my left sides on it and spun and got 4 minutes of optional damage and had 1 caution to repair a minute of it. So it was right around 3 minutes optional. But congrats to Nick. Well deserved. He held off Jacob, which is always fast. So I mean, you can't take it from him.
Next week at the Charlotte Road Course, we're going to see you try for something better than 3rd. Congratulations on the bronze, man.
Thanks, man.
Silver medalist tonight, Jake Prince in the number 9 UniFirst Chevrolet. Just couldn't catch up to Kaufman, but at the end, you held off long for that silver medal.
Yeah, I felt like my car was pretty good tonight. Just really frustrating. It's frustrating here for me. I feel like there's been a couple of times this year where I could have won, and you just get stuck in dirty air, and there's just not much you can do. So I ran the tires out there behind the 14, trying to get by them. I mean, I tried to short fit it because I knew whoever come out in the lead was going to win it because, I mean, you just can't pass there in dirty air. So congrats to Nick. He beat me off pit road, and that was about all she wrote for us. But I'll take second. Next two tracks are kind of a wild card, so needed a good points night, but just really looking forward to next season at this point, to be honest with you.
We'll see you in a week's time at Charlotte. Congratulations on second.
Appreciate it.
Fans at home, the number 14 of Nick Kaufman. What more can you say? He held off some of the best competition to get his first victory. He leapfrogs from 12th all the way up to 7th, unofficially in points. And the next 2 weeks don't matter, Nick, because you're locked in to the next round of racing. What a drive. And finally, congratulations on the win.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That sounds pretty good. I don't have to worry about the next 2 weeks. But yeah, I was finally able to put a full race together. I've been, fast here and there throughout the season, but just was finally able to take the checkered with speed. I think I ended up winning by 5 seconds even. So, I hate it for Perrin and Jordan and Cody that all got caught up in wrecks and got damaged. I think Dakota had some damage too from that spin out on the front straight in the dog leg. But yeah, I just kept it clean, kept it pointed straight, and brought it home clean.
You brought it home clean. Next week, nothing to worry about. And finally, the monkey's off your back. You've proven it. You can get to victory lane. So we'll see you next week at Charlotte, where you're going to go for 2 wins in a row. Congratulations on the gold.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
Fans at home, another ENEA chapter is in the books and the playoffs roll on. Next Monday night, we're going to be at the Charlotte Road Course to see who else wants to lock themselves in to the semifinal round of the playoffs. And then this Thursday night, the Gen 4 high horsepower monsters come to the Martinsville Speedway. 3 races to go in the season. Martinsville, Talladega, Homestead. And you just can't miss that action because it's fun every single week. So until that next race, everybody please stay safe. Do take care of each other, and we will see you all